Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the roast of Tony Abbott. Could you please put those hands together and make welcome out onto the stage your roast master for the evening, Mr. Mark Williamson.
Hello, welcome everybody to the Tony Abbott the roast of Tony Abbott. Thank you. Round of applause for you guys for coming out tonight. Now, before we start proceedings, we'd just like to start by thanking the traditional owners of Tony Abbott. So, round of applause for Gina Reinhardt and Rupert Murdoch, ladies and gentlemen. So the format for tonight's show, those who don't know, it's a roast. So I'm your host. I'll be introducing people. Momentarily, I'm going to bring out Mr. Abbott, and then I'm going to bring out a panel of roasters to pay tribute to the great man himself. And at the end, he'll get to have a right of reply. Now, I know if some of you are probably worried, but don't. The script for tonight's show has been shown to Cabinet, so we assume you've all been leaked a copy. Now, when we booked this roast, we planned on inviting Tony's colleagues and families, but what are the odds that tonight is the night that Malcolm Turnbull chose to hold his annual No Tonys Allowed party? But don't worry, we've made some calls and we've rounded up a great panel. Backstage, we've got a literal who's that of Australian politics. I don't mean to disrespect our roasters, but we've got that much dead wood backstage that the Greens are already trying to have it heritage listed. Now, just a disclaimer, Dyson Hayden, if you're here, tonight is a Liberal Party fundraiser. All funds raised will be going towards a future Joe Hockey defamation case. Yeah, he really might. We did want Joe to be here tonight, and he was receptive when we approached him. He did, in fact, give us his number. But no, this won't surprise anyone who's seen one of his budgets. When we went to make the call, the numbers just didn't add up. So no Joe tonight. But that's okay, that's okay. Another apology, Senator Cory Bernardi can't be here tonight. He's at home doing some research into good government. Apparently SBS is showing a documentary on Hitler. Apologies if I defamed Hitler with that one. Scott Morrison couldn't be here tonight. Bit vague on his reasonings. Something about dealing with or organising a spill. Not really sure what that means. And our final apology, we'd just like to apologise for Christopher Pyne. We're really, really sorry for Christopher Pyne. We're so sorry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to welcome on stage the reason we are all here and our international reputation is worthless. He's axed the tax, stopped the boats, which is a good thing because he can't plug the leaks. He's the member for Warringah. He's the member for Warringah whose office is in Manly, but don't mention Manly men who like other men, as the thought of that makes him uncomfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, the 28th Prime Minister of Australia, 27th if you only count Kevin Rudd once. Please give him a 21 flag salute and welcome on stage your Prime Minister, Mr. Tony Abbott.
Tony, we think you're awesome, Tony. Oh, I'll stay around another term. My mom thinks you're fantastic, Tony. Stay around another term.
Welcome, Mr. Prime Minister. You comfortable? Would you like anything? A budget surplus? All right. Are you ready? You ready for us to bring out our first roaster? Are you guys ready for the first roaster? Well, I read this and I had to check it twice. Apparently, as well as being Prime Minister, he's also the Minister for Women. We thought it only appropriate that we start off the roast with a woman representing 52% of the population. We have a former bouncer, gridiron playing accountant, who amazingly isn't affected by marriage equality. Would you please put your hands together and welcome Julia Wilson?
Hello. It's so lovely to be here because I just truly love you so much. I've known Tony since he was a student since we were students at the Uni of Sydney. He was aggressive and misogynist. You're a right-wing extremist, so it's like Groundhog Day today. Now, Jesus said that everyone has a place, and maybe that place isn't here in this room tonight. So if there's someone near you that's brown or poor, maybe showing a bit too much intelligence, we could just fuck them right off. That'd be great. Because I know it makes you a little uncomfortable, doesn't it, buddy? Does just, no, you're fine. No, I'll do the talking for you. That's how it works. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Julia Wilson. I'm the. I thought it was like a superhero thing that I was the token woman. I thought that made me like token woman, but I'm not. I'm tokenism is at play here. That's my point. I thought that my superpower could be, common sense and a cracking right uppercut, but that freaked him out just a little bit because I'm not a wall. Brick wall, maybe, but not an actual wall. And I know that my name, Julia, is confusing because, as the token woman, you might have thought I was Julie Bishop, but I'm not. I am also not Julia Gillard, but I know that there are a few very obvious, comparisons. One, we're both women. We are. We totally went to the toilet once together. That's what we do as women. And we've both never been married, which, clearly something wrong with both of us. And we're probably not going to use our brakes too much if you're crossing in front of us in the street. But it's okay, because you've got an entire Secret Service looking after you now. And as Mark said, I am a woman gridiron player, which means I wear those big pads. And if you try to tax those fuckers, I swear to God there's going to be trouble. You're taxing every other pad I have to go anywhere near. And I know that it makes me sound, as an ex-bouncer and a gridiron player, it makes me sound a little bit like Team Sisters. But I'm more of a tomboy that grew up into a tom man. But I got to say, when I see you in that blue tie, I get a little bit lazy. That's as creepy as I could make that wink. But even then, I didn't do it justice. So just as Dyson Hayden has decided that his behaviour is completely okay, I've decided these political jokes are completely all right. But they're not as strong as I would like them to have been, because we did outsource them to a lovely young boy with a 457 visa. So I was hoping that that maybe they'd be a little stronger, but they're not. So it's a shame that tonight won't be being live streamed online, but the NBN didn't make it to Marrickville. Wanted it to, but, there's so many hippies and porn lovers around here, they're not getting the internet for 45 fucking years. Now, as we all know, our Tony, as we like to, you're a 10-pound pom, aren't you, Tiger? Yeah, so we don't tell too many people that, though. We know our finance minister is a Belgian. That's great. He should be flogging chocolate rather than doing the stuff that he's doing. And our treasurer's original name is Hokkadonian, because he comes from an Armenian-Palestinian background. And I did some research, and Hokkadonian translates to, do you know the directions to Centrelink? I'm about to be unemployed. Yeah, that's you shouldn't be laughing at that one. Poor Joe. Just doesn't get it, does he? I could use him on my gridiron team as cannon fodder. Now, I like that. Oh, bless. It's fine for you to get hit, but not Joe. Now, I know that I have no political profile, so a lot of you will be going, well, how did she get on there? Let's just say my dad knows someone important. Yeah, no, it's fine. There's a scholarship involved. The paperwork's fine. Now, one of the things we love about you, Tone, is your blue tie. Because every now and then when you get a little bit lizardy, you almost look like you're being Australian with your blue tongueness. It's wonderful. No one has ever called you reptilian ever. Certainly not me. And I know people make fun of your ears, but if you ever decide to do a Harold Holt, we'll be able to see you from space. Unlike that poor Malaysian airliner. I'm sure we'd have found it if you were on there, wouldn't we? I do wonder about your walk, though. Is there something? Is there a bit of a turd thing happening with the walk? Was the deportment not included on the Orisay, the boat you came over? No, okay. Now, what I love is that Tony was instrumental in improving the well-being for women. So thanks for those carbon tax cuts that didn't happen. It's never been so expensive to recharge my pretend boyfriend. It's all right. Catholics don't do that. It's fine. Now, Now, I am from the Northern Beaches, North Shore part of Sydney, and I do apologise. We did give you, yeah, I know, I've seen you out there with your board. Again, couldn't be more lazy. I'm apologising that coming from the North Shore, Northern Beaches, we've given you Tony and the lovely Joe Hockey, Lane Cove, and Bronwyn Bishop is within stone's throw, quite literally, of where I live. But my arm was better. But she's old enough now that she's almost retired, so she can have a Kero bath all of her own. Thank you for remembering that. That impressed me. What I love, though, is that Tony's refusing to allow members of his own party a conscience vote on marriage equality by reminding them they're actually members of the Liberal Party and therefore have no conscience. And with 2 women being killed every week by domestic violence, it's up to me to. That's not a joke, Tony. That's actual. They're actual statistics. That's why they've got girls like me up the front here. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's terrible. But it's all right though, because the Northern Beaches. It's rein it in, Tiger. The Northern Beaches are going to vote in. Not hopefully. Sure, you might be aware. You've got a bit of competition in the next election. The lovely Dick Smith from the Northern Beaches is going up against Tony. I know, and you are in a little bit of trouble because he was born here. Oh, don't mention the war. He is actually a very good businessman, and he can fly his own fucking helicopter. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've got to go because I've got a job on a sex line that needs to be done. See you all later. Thank you so much. Great chat.
Ladies and gentlemen, Julia Wilson. Breaking the news in there. Next election, Warringah. It's a choice of Tony Abbott and Dick Smith. 2 dicks. Now, you're probably wondering, the Prime Minister, he gets his right of reply later in the evening. He won't be saying anything. And it's not just because Peter Credlin's stuck in traffic and giving it. He hasn't got the briefing notes. But don't worry, she'll get here. All right, it's now time for our next roaster. As Prime Minister, Tony Abbott has done a lot for the environment. None of it good. He did ask us if we could have a lump of coal as part of the roast, but every time we tried to source one, Gina Reinhardt would appear out of nowhere and go, mine! So instead of a dirty lump of coal, we have a dirty lump of hippie. Ladies and gentlemen, start the applause. That's not a joke, Tony. Start the applause. So please welcome on stage our dirty lump of hippie, Mr. Carlo Sands.
What do we want? How about now? When do we want it now? What do we want? When do we want it? Yeah, all right, calm down. This is a roast, not a revolution. We'll start that once this is done. All right, so you probably guessed. Yes, I am the young Liberal tonight. No, actually, I am from Green Left Weekly, and as one of Tony's environmental busybodies, I was actually going to chain myself to the podium tonight, and not until Tony agrees to resign. But unfortunately, under his welfare laws, I couldn't afford a padlock. Tony Abbott, what can I say about our Prime Minister that won't get my citizenship stripped? Well, they say the left is too negative. No to this, don't do that. I thought tonight I'd be positive. And so I wanted to say that I think Tony Abbott has been very good for those of us in the community who really like getting angry. For us rage addicts, you're the best Prime Minister ever. There's something new every day. I think also you've been very good for the protest sector in general, getting us out of the home onto the streets. Some of the older activists from the 60s generation, they really appreciate the exercise. It's been fantastic. I think also the left won't like to admit this, but I think that Tony Abbott's been very good for our self-esteem on the left. Because sure, we might be getting 17 types of shit kicked out of us by over-privileged, over-entitled hypocrites. Then again, at least we've never tried to knight a duke. At least we know how to eat an onion, Tony. Use a frying pan, you dingbat. It's hard for me to stay calm when he's just there. I don't think Tony gets enough credit for his education work. I think he works very hard at providing opportunities for those who might not otherwise have been able to access those opportunities in education. True, mostly his daughter, so far in his daughter Frances, but it's a step in the right direction. If there's one bit of constructive criticism I could give you, Tony, I think everyone in this room, I speak for everyone here, we appreciate your efforts to keep Melbourne's borders safe. But if I could give you a suggestion, if you really want to catch the visa violators, what you need to do, invite Liverpool FC back for another game at the MCG, then just round up the 90,000 English visa overstays who rock up. In fact, just lock the gates. You'll have a brand new detention centre right there. I think Tony, also the other thing with Tony that we need to appreciate is I think you've done a very, very good job in proving why we should never listen to inspirational quotes. You know, the type of Facebook memes you see, be yourself, be you, look inside your heart, be the US you can possibly be. That's always sounded fine to me. But I always think, what if you're Tony Abbott? By all appearances, Tony is a poor-hating, racist, misogynist, homophobe. Tony, if you're being yourself, for God's sake, stop. Ignore the Facebook memes. Do not be the USU you can possibly be. Tony's also taught us that we've been reading the Bible wrong, as Julie also taught us. As when Tony was on Q&A, before it became a propaganda arm for ISIS, he was asked, what would Jesus do about boat people? And Tony answered that Jesus understands there's a place for everyone, and that place isn't necessarily Australia. Tony, are you sure that's what Jesus said? Because I appreciate you're very proud. You're very proud to be the captain of Team Australia. But I don't think we made it into the Bible. Unless there's a previously unpublished Gospel of Tony, in which presumably Jesus ends the Sermon on the Mount by saying, coal miners shall inherit the earth. And before you go, don't forget, there's a place for everyone in their place. Not Australia for you people. Don't really like your kind there. Seriously, presumably according to the Gospel according to Tony, in the story of the Good Samaritan, rather than help the injured Jew on the side of the road, I assume the Samaritan starts kicking the shit out of him before shouting, "Fuck off back to Jerusalem, Jericho's full." What is it with you, Tony, with you and torturing innocent people? I don't understand it. I mean, Jesus, fucking heart. My doctor warned me, told me not to do this gig. I'm gonna have to go for the sake of my health. Bastard. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Carlo Sands. He's an angry, angry man. Don't worry, if Australia ever does change its gun laws, he'll never be able to afford to buy one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, we've had some people on the line. They've called in. Now, don't worry. As taxpayers, you're not being charged. Everyone's using Peter Reith's phone card tonight, so we're all good. So I believe we've got some phone messages. Listen in.
Hi, Tony. It's Mike Baird here, the Premier of New South Wales. Your old surfing buddy. I hope you're having fun at the roast. You know, we share much in common. We both love surfing, the Sea Eagles, and we both get perved on by every woman in New South Wales. Mate, I hope they roast you like a coal seam gas well. But stay focused tonight, Tony, and don't let them turn gay marriage into an issue for you. God bless you, you dopey bastard.
Hello, Tony. It's your old mate Ian McFarlane here, mate. How you going? Geez, I hope you're having a good night there tonight. Listen, I wish I could be there, but as you know, I've got a prior commitment with karaoke. You know me, mate. I'm with you all the bloody way, Tony. All the way up to the spill. All right, well, you have a bloody good night. I love you, Tone.
Thank you, Premier and McFarlane. Now, Tony, we've got one of your people up next. We've got a farmer.
What sort of farmer?
Oh, wind. Ladies and gentlemen, farmers have given so much to Australia. Drought relief, flood relief. Heck, if it weren't for concerts raising money for farmers, Lee Kernaghan wouldn't have a career. So with that in mind, please welcome on stage and get ready to open your wallets and welcome Australian farmer Trevor Gumboot.
I just put this down for now. 2 pack a day, man. Yeah, we farmers, we love the Liberal Party, though I vote for the Nationals myself. Me daddy used to vote for the Country Party. But we like to think of young Tony here as a right proper country party man himself. And unlike his wife, we like to give him a nice warm welcome in the bush. Shouldn't you be out the back making some scones, girlie? And there's plenty of room in my top paddock, Dane, if you want to get rid of this hippie. Got half a dozen others up there already. Now, well, I heard, Tony, that you don't like my wind turbines. You reckon they're loud, ugly and blustery. But apparently you like Andrew Bolt. What I'm going to do to you tonight, son, I'm going to give you something we call aversion therapy. Now what that is, if you're scared of something, you touch it. Gets you over the fear. Like we heard that Rolf Harris had a fear of kitties. It's worked an absolute treat with that fella. Now what I got here, I've bonsai'd one of my wind turbines for you. Got a little Japanese man in to prune it here and there. Now don't be afraid, Prime Minister. Just put your finger right there and nothing bad will happen to you. Now, by the way, Mr Prime Minister, I heard you don't like these things because birds fly into them. And what we've done on my farm is we bunged a picture, Bronwyn Bishop on the back of it. Birds aren't flying north for the winter anymore out my way. They're flying down to Antarctica. Now, you can have that, Prime Minister. Put it in your garden. Stops the birds from eating strawberries. The best thing about this setup here is Bronny can fly home at the end of the night. Look at that. Now, I heard as a farmer, I'm interested in this thing they call fracking. Now, I wasn't sure where to stand on this whole fracking business. Listening to the greenies, I thought, well, I'm not sure. I haven't made my mind up. Listen to the geologists. Don't know. Listen to the scientists. Still wasn't sure about my position. Then I heard that Alan Jones was totally against it. So I thought, right, I made my mind up. I'm for it. In fact, some of those lads were around my place the other day said, oh, well, you want to go do some fracking? And I said, look, I'm busy, old sons, but you go frack yourselves. And I'm sure you agree with me, at the end of your term as Prime Minister, Mr. Tony, this whole country will be completely fracked. And that's we've got you to thank for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Tony. You're a good man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trevor Gumboot. You'll be seeing him soon in the next instalment of Wolf Creek. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a few more callers on the line. Let's listen to some more messages.
Tony Abbott, what's up? It's me, Chuck the Man Mundine, greatest athlete this country ever seen, Anthony Mundine. Know what I'm saying? As you know, when I retire from boxing, I'm into politics. Now I believe that I can make this country truly a better place. Know what I'm saying, baby? Just like you used to box at Oxford University, I believe that I too can go on to become the Prime Minister. So don't you get too used to wearing that championship blue tie, because I'm coming for that, you crazy cat. You and me gonna debate, biatch. The two Anthonys. Yeah? Anyway, have a fun night. Peace.
Well, hello, Tony. It's your friend Erica Betts here. I'm wishing you lots of fun with your roast tonight. Sounds like a bit of a fad. People are doing these things at the moment. I can't think of anything humorous to say, but if I find a better link between abortion and cervical cancer, I'll let you know. Also, every time that annoying gay marriage bill comes through this Senate, I will do my best to vote against it. I will be there with you till the end of this bill. All the best and enjoy the rest of your show.
Thank you, Chock and Erica Betts. I tell you what a world we live in. Next election, Chock Mundine running for Prime Minister, Kanye West running for President. It's a good thing we're not doing anything about climate change, isn't it? Bring on the end of the world. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our final roasters. Now, over the years, Tony has worked with and opposed some truly great politicians. Sadly, they couldn't be here tonight. So instead, we have Kevin Rudd. Now, before you start groaning, just think it could have been worse. If Channel 9 hadn't have booked him, we would have had Mark Latham. So ladies and gentlemen, start the applause and welcome Prime Minister 25 and 27, Mr. Kevin Rudd.
Prime Minister Abbott, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Australian Greens Party. Today we are here to honour the career of one of the most articulate, one of the most sophisticated leaders this nation has ever had. Indeed, when Tony arrived in Canberra all those years ago, he brought with him an elegance and a grace to the halls of Canberra that befits the office he now holds so very dearly and so very temporarily. And how great is it that we are today joined by Trevor Gumboot, a salt-of-the-earth, fair-income, ordinary country kid just like me, a man who knows his Rosella tomato sauce from the rest. Trev is a fair-income Australian, and he and I have a lot in common. He grew up on a farm, just like me. He hates being the centre of attention, just like me. And no matter what it throws at him, he has never lost his loyalty and love of this country. Julia Wilson is also here with us this evening. History records that I have an excellent track record with women called Julia. And from what I've heard of her tonight, this one's even more elegant and even more sophisticated than the previous one. We also have with us Mark Williamson. And as history shows, I have almost as good a record with gentlemen called Mark as I do with women called Julia. And mate, I hear Channel 9 has got a new show with Mark on it. I've been listening to your stuff. I reckon if you can make it a bit glossier and a bit smoother, you'd be an ideal writer for Mark. Anthony John Abbott is a humble man. Anthony John Abbott is a humbled man. Over the years, he and I have had our differences. Let's just be upfront about that. There are things about which we have not agreed. But what cannot be denied is that this man loves his country like a parent loves their child. He makes sacrifices to put his country first every time, just as any loving parent would do instinctively. I'm a parent myself. I've got kids. I understand this. Bill Shorten has kids. He would understand this as well. Julia Gillard would understand this. When Tony came to office, he promised change. The vaudeville, the theatrics that dominated my government were going to end with his. And he has delivered on that promise by making Prince Philip a knight and enrolling Australia into the Eurovision Song Contest. He has faced his ups and downs, he's faced some praise and he's faced some criticism. In 2007, he was described by Mark Latham as a disgraceful scourge on the Australian political landscape. To an Australian politician, there can be no greater honour. In 2013, he was described by Bronwyn Bishop as a man of excellent judgment. To an Australian politician, there can be no greater shame. Tony, as many of you here tonight would know, is a devout Christian. He has always attempted to live his life in the same model as Christ our Saviour. Just as Christ dined with the sinners and the prostitutes and the other sinners, so Tony has dined with Rupert Murdoch and Gina Reinhardt. Tony, you know how much I respect you. You know how much I admire you, mate. Time after time, we have put aside our differences to work together to achieve fair outcomes. We joined together to ensure that Julia Gillard was treated with the respect and decency someone of her integrity deserves. But Tony, I'm a forgiving man. The Australian Labor Party did things to me. I didn't hold it against them. I didn't go after revenge. But Tony, forgiveness and Christian charity has its limits. At some point, enough is enough. Exhibit A. Kitchen Cabinet 2013. Interviewer, Annabelle Crabb. Interviewee, Anthony John Abbott. So, Tony, what would you normally send your staff to get you in the morning as a bit of a pick-me-up? Well, Annabelle, I'm afraid for me, it's a decaffeinated skim mocha. Tony, ISIS are on our doorsteps. Putin is not being shirt-fronted. Say it ain't so, mate. Say it ain't so. In a few moments, you will take this podium. I challenge you to refute these claims. And if you don't, I submit the following proposition that the Governor-General exercises Section 32 of the Australian Constitution and enacts a right to revoke the office of Prime Minister for one Anthony John Abbott forthwith. Thank you.
The one, and thankfully only, Kevin Rudd. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now the time we've waited for, and we were really anticipating. It's the time for Tony to give his right of reply. So he's asked for a standing ovation, but no, don't bother with that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we could start the applause, please welcome on stage the 28th Prime Minister, the member for Warringah, Mr. Tony Abbott.
We think you're awesome, Tony. Oh, I'll stay around another term. My mom thinks you're fantastic, Tony. Stay around another term.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you all my fellow Caucasians for coming in tonight. Now, look, I'm not going to do any racist or sexist material here tonight, even though my Attorney General said, mate, bloody go for it. But in fact, Mark, you look a lot like George Brandis, or maybe his father. His father's dead. Look, it is very nice to live in a country where we can all just feel free to make fun of our leader. There are places around the world that don't enjoy our same freedom of speech, and such as Manus Island. There are many around, but look, I've come all the way from Warringah to be here tonight with you. Warringah is a beautiful place. It is essentially God's country, and our area, it is so conservative. Even the local Greens candidate looks like One Nation. It is idyllic, and although it does have problems, it does have a multicultural hub, such as an area called DY. This area has New Zealanders in it, and look, now nothing against our Anzac allies, because look, I too know what it's like to be a New Zealander, because I too have been accused of leading sheep into a promising position before screwing them. But no crudity tonight, as you said. I'm not Mark Latham. Labor, remember that. But no, he didn't make it, and that's lucky, because, look, there are two different kinds of people in this world. There are, there's the strong, resilient, clever types, and then there's the women. And no, in fact, if Julia was any more manly, I'd encourage her to marry my sister. The truth is that Julia is proof that women can do anything if you set your mind and superior race and financial position to it. Anything is truly possible. As a matter of fact, I had no idea what she was saying. It was like listening to a scientist. But look, not all women are loopy and dysfunctional. There was, of course, Madam Speaker, and I miss her dearly. Bronwyn Bishop was, I was very close to her. Not physically, because I'd always suspected she may be a transvestite. But I'd long considered her to, myself as being the ideological love child of John Howard and Bronwyn Bishop, and many people have retorted that they should have had an ideological abortion. But that's the easy way out, and should not be considered outside of a circus, but because I am focused on the big issue. Carlo over there is focused on selling the big issue. Look at you, Carlo. You're always so uptight about my government's efforts. You know, you just need to settle down. There are so many people in this country that will not settle down, and they are called boat people. Look, that's not fair. But look, I wish I could. I had time to pay you all out here tonight, but you are not people smugglers. So we'll just leave that right behind and let the groans all settle too. Look, Joe Hockey couldn't be here tonight. As you said, he doesn't do roasts. He does defamations. Last time I roasted Joe, I said, those pinstripe suits aren't working for you. If you want to wear something that's thinning, try Scott Morrison's hair. But alas, I don't want to talk about Scott too much. We'll leave that to the Fairfax people. Look at Trevor over there. Look at you, mate. We're trying to tackle the ice epidemic, not promote it. What are you farming under those wind turbines? Methylamine? I believe they make drugs from that. Look at you, Trevor. The terms of entry in here tonight was racists welcome, not rapists welcome. You're the last person I'd want to see on The Farmer Wants a Wife. Actually, my daughters are. I wouldn't want them going near you or your wind turbines. But look, like a pedestal fan, you really need a fan or a cage around the outside of you as well. And, mate, why don't you just sell your farm to foreign investors and buy a home in Sydney like normal people? Because we will sell anything right now to foreign investors, especially Mark Williamson's jokes. You bet you are. You bet I will. Look, we all have our struggles. The GP co-payment, the TPP, that marriage equality, gay marriage bill. Let me be clear. We will make that thing harder to pass than a truckie's turd. You bet you are. You bet I will. But it was good to hear Mike Baird's message before. Mike Baird is looking to allow medicinal marijuana, which is good because I suppose some towns, useless towns like Byron Bay and Nimbin, can now become mining towns. And that's probably the best news you've heard all year, Carlo, isn't it, eh? The hippies. Look, this is Kevin Rudd's first roast over there. His first roast. Let's hope he can walk away gracefully tonight and not burst into tears with knives hanging out of his back like the end of his first prime ministership. But look at him now. He's still waiting for his New York strippers to come out by the looks of things. Always writing a memoir nobody will read. Kevin Rudd, didn't you have some colourful ministers, eh? Remember Peter Garrett, the Kingsford Smith member, the singer of Midnight Oil, of course. Don't know what happened. I understand he was attacked by deadly pink bats or something, and That was the last we saw of him. And then there's Penny Wong as well. More like Penny Wrong. Dear. Well, look, I used to have an old phrase when I was back in opposition. I used to say, look, if loving women is Wong, I don't want to be white. That's not homophobic, sexist, or racist in any way. It is not everything about her. But Penny Wong was such a communist that I often confused her with Mao Zedong's little brother. All right, well, look, it may be time for me to be serious and let you know that my government is doing a wonderful job. We've stopped the boats, we've axed the tax, we will fence expense and seize the trees and erase the gays. And we cannot do it overnight, but look, it may be time to leave this factory. I'm not used to being in here without a fluorescent vest on, but look, like our TPP, I am full of surprises, and I am going to depart. But before I do, I'd like to go and grab the guitar over there, sing a song. So a bit of a round of applause for all of the roasters here tonight, if you don't mind, and I'll go and retrieve the instrument. I'm just a regular bloke with a regular wife. I enjoy a certain white suburbanite way of life. I like surfing, onions, and sculling my beers. I like winking, stopping boats, and frowning at queers. But sometimes that's just not enough to keep me Prime Minister. Oh no, 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 nope, no. I've got to go out and warn you of something more sinister. Oh yes, 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 that's right. Oh well, the death cult are coming, but I'm ahead of the curve. And this year I've given you the budget you deserve. 'Cause I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, you bet. I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, that's right. I cut funding to pensions, put chaplains in schools. Murdoch's behind me, you lefties are fools. I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, you bet. I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, that's right. L-I-B-E-R-A-L. Everybody, L-I-B-E-R-A-L. 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 'Cause I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, you bet. I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, I'm a liberal, that's right. That's right, I am a quite a proud liberal. There you go. Thank you very, very much, and I've given you the respect you deserve. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Prime Minister Tony Abbott. The Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen. And before that wraps up the roast tonight. Can we have a round of applause for the roasters? as you heard them. Julia Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. Carlo Sands. Trevor Gumboot, who may or may not be Peter Green. Kevin Rudd, who may or may not be Nathan Lentern. And, of course, the wonderfully talented Tony Abbott, who may or may not be Jonas Holt. Stand up and take a bow. I've been Mark Williamson. Thank you very much. Good night.